Sweat from working out isn't just water. It can disrupt your scalp, damage hair, and impact growth if not managed properly. In this episode of Inside the Bottle with Pro Stylist Guide, we break down how sweat affects scalp health across all sports, including helmet wear, sun exposure, and post-workout care. Learn how to protect, cleanse, and restore your scalp for stronger, healthier hair.
Do you play sports? Do you work out on the regular? Do you play sports that are out in the sun and not thinking about your scalp? If so, you could be damaging your hair and not even realize you're doing so. You see, sweat isn't just water sitting on your scalp. It's salt, it's toxins, it's bacteria, and if it sits on your scalp for too long, it can damage your hair and scalp health. Today, we're breaking down what exactly is happening and how sweat affects your scalp, what's happening under the helmets, and how to protect your hair so you can live an active lifestyle. Stick with me. Welcome back, everyone, to Inside the Bottle with Kind Soul Haircare. I'm your guide, Sarah Jane, and this is the second part of wellness rituals that are quietly damaging your hair. And today, we're going to the gym with sports that make you sweat. As a professional stylist, I see this all the time. I work next door to a gym. I have a lot of clients that are very active with playing sports and working out, but they're struggling with dryness, irritation, thinning, or buildup. What is the common factor here? This is sweat and neglect. And so let's break this down. To better understand this, we need to know what sweat is actually doing to your scalp. So, what is sweat made up of? It's made up of four parts of water, salt, oils, and waste compounds. When this sits on your scalp, salt crystals dry out the hair shaft, and this can naturally disrupt your scalp's natural pH balance, then begins to feed bacteria and yeast to your scalp. This will lead to clogged pores and, clogged follicles, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And over time, this will lead to itching and irritation. I see this quite a bit behind the chair when clients are talking about their dry, flaky scalp. A lot of times they mention a product that's famous in drugstores that they use, but the fact is that it has nothing to do with the product you're using, but it's about the neglect of the scalp health. Getting that sweat out of there is key. The weakened hair strands, this is where you're going to start shedding or breaking. Slower or disrupted hair growth, and I see this probably the most behind a chair when clients come in worried about hair loss, because one of the first things I ask is about their scalp health. I'd like to remind them that their scalp is just like skin on their face. Leaving sweat on your face or scalp for too long creates an imbalance. Sports that impact your scalp health the most. Let's talk about real life scenarios, high impact sweat sports. Sports that make you sweat a lot more, like running, cycling, CrossFit, basketball, soccer. These are all sports that create consistent sweat around the scalp line or the crown area. In this next section, I'm not really going to talk much about because we've already premiered our surfing episode, which will go a little more in detail in our final installment of wellness rituals that are quietly damaging your hair. We cover the chlorine. So, what am I talking about? Water sports, such as swimming, surfing, water polo. This is where sweat, salt water, chlorine, sun exposure, when it goes from wet to dry, that weakens the hair shaft, causes a lot of hair damage. I'll link those videos down below in the description box. This next section, I really have fallen for this too myself, is helmet sports. Major impact on your hair health and scalp health. I noticed this years ago when I was cycling and my helmet was breaking my hair. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I wasn't taking the proper care as I should have. Helmet sports like football, baseball, hockey, cycling, I have helmets that trap in heat, sweat, bacteria. This creates the perfect environment for follicle congestion, scalp irritation, and breakage at pressure points, which is what was happening to me. So if you ever have the sweat in the sun equals double the damage. Now layer sun exposure, UV rays. This breaks down the hair's natural protein structure. When this happens, your color will begin to fade and dry out both your scalp and your hair. Combined with sweat, the salt from your sweat is actually intensifies and causes dehydration. This is what's going to cause dryness and breakage into your hair after a workout. The heat from the sun opens the cuticle and makes the proteins more vulnerable to hair damage. Your scalp becomes reactive and really sensitive. This is especially common in beach workouts as well, like outdoor yoga or heat yoga. Anywhere where you're sweating outdoors and exposed to the sun, your damage intensifies. What I recommend my clients to do post workout is use a detox shampoo. This will remove any of the waste compounds that you have accumulated during your workout. I recommend Kind Soul just because the Ocean Rush detox shampoo is with activated charcoal. And what this does is gently remove all the toxins and buildup from your scalp that you accumulated during your workout while leaving your hair hydrated. Then I follow up with Solar Guard Protective Spray. This is with aloe vera, so it's a leave-in all-day hydrating conditioning treatment with a UV protector. So your helmet hygiene is just as important as your scalp care. Cleaning your helmet lining regularly and letting it dry naturally in between uses can make a considerable difference within your hair and scalp health. Also, consider a helmet lining if that is possible. Behind a chair, I get asked all the time, how much should I shampoo if I work out? I say don't overwash, but don't ignore the sweat. There's a balance for this. Daily heavy shampooing can lead to stripping of your natural oils. We all know that. But ignoring the sweat can lead to buildup and more damaging issues, scalp issues. So I'm going to leave this up to you. Find your rhythm based on your activity level. The more activities, the more sweat that you're producing, probably the more you should be shampooing. And as a professional note on a sidebar, I would say on occasion, if you let your sweat stay in your hair, it's not generally going to compromise your hair health. It's when it's consecutive and not taken care of right consistently, that's when the damage occurs. If you're active in the sun or wearing helmets regularly, your scalp needs intentional care. Healthy hair does not start with styling. It starts with your scalp's environment. If this has helped you really understand what's happening with sweat into your hair, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow along for more pro-level hair education. Next week, we're heading to the sauna. And if you go to the sauna post-workout, you won't want to miss this one. Till then, thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Be well. If you're